It's really fantastic. Yes, that's exactly what we want. Sometimes I really wanted strawberries on top.
Today we're going to make pizza. I got a lot of flour here, 2 kilos. We're having a big pizza party.
Yes, it's kind of a big party because we're even going to watch a movie.
So, 2 kilos of flour, just over 1 litre of tepid water with about 15 grams. I'm using fresh yeast today because I have it. Otherwise, I perfectly love dried yeast. And we're just going to stir that in with about 60 grams of lovely olive oil. And we're just going to stir it into a well in the bowl. And I like to keep it in the bowl for as long as possible, just to keep the mess to a minimum.
Yes, and it's kind of too sticky, so after you've finished that, you have to re-wash your hands.
Yes, so it's a bit sticky at the moment. Stir, stir, stir. Now I start using my hands, and when it is as incorporated as I can.
Then we put it on the table. We kind of get a bit smooth till it's not any more sticky.
And we start kneading.
Yes, kneading is sometimes you get your hands messy. Just not sticky at the end, is it?
And I don't really have a technique as such. But what I would say is have some patience because it can feel really sticky and daunting at this phase. But just keep working with it and it will soon come together. Oh, and I forgot to put some salt, so I put that in now. Nobody will notice. Now, I put the salt at the end there. Now, that's not a problem. What you definitely don't want to do is you don't want to put salt anywhere near the yeast because salt kills yeast. Now, I've been kneading for a while and as you can see, my assistant has got a bit fed up. So here we come to a beautiful, smooth dough, and that's exactly what we want.
Yes, and exactly what we want. Sometimes it gets a bit trickier, but then it gets easier at the end, rolling it, eating it. But to be patient, it's quite hard.
I'm going to cut it in two because it's going to rise and I don't have a bowl big enough, so we're going to cut it in two. I want 2 equal sized balls, and this one's a little bit bigger, so I'll just steal a little bit and put it into this one. And then we're going to oil our bowls and plop them in, covered with a wet dishcloth. Now we wait and we let it rise till it's double in size, which will probably take about a minimum of 2 hours. Now it's been 2 hours and let's see, my beautiful dough has risen beautifully. And you just give it a big punch to let all the air out. And then we give it a little knead and put it back in the bowl for its second rise. And don't forget to cover it up again.
Bye.
Another couple of hours. Now, pizza 9! Here we are. We're absolutely starving. So, let's get ready. Break off a bit of my dough.
Yes. Flatten it with a rolling pin. Put some sauce in. Put some cheese and chili and tomatoes and...
Now, I like to use semola to roll out my dough. So dust it with a bit of semola. It just gives it a nice grainy texture. We're going to make rectangle pizzas tonight because we're a big group of people and it's super fun. We can share slices, we can make half and half, different flavors, different toppings.
Right.
Now, my brother, who is a pizza chef, would kill me by using a rolling pin, but it's easier, just do whatever works for you.
It's really fantastic.
Little hand coming in there was a little bit of someone stealing some mozzarella. Whose hand was that?
Me.
Now we have a nicely oiled tray here, and I'm just going to put the dough down and just make sure that all the corners are
Yes,
covered.
and sometimes we don't actually make square pizzas.
Now, what's the first thing that goes on the base, Isabella?
You kind of put tomatoes in a bowl and stir them up till it gets into sauce.
My tomato sauce is very simple, just some olive oil and salt. I personally like oregano, but not everyone does, so I put that on at the end. Spread it onto the bottom, and then a little trick which makes it super tasty is a little grating of parmesan over the bottom, and then followed by the mozzarella on top. I think we're going to do half of this one salsiccia, which is a family favourite. Got some nice fresh Italian sausage here, so I'm just going to take it out of its skin and put it over the pizza. The fun thing about this shape of pizza is you can do different toppings, as I already said. So here we're going to do half and half. Everybody loves chili. Fresh from the garden. What more can you want?
Sometimes I really wanted strawberries on top.
And then we're going to do half mozzarella for the children. Preheat your oven as high as it goes. This is a wood oven, and this one's about 400 degrees, as you would normally find in pizzerias. My oven at home only goes to about 250, and that's fine too. I normally use a pizza stone if you have one. Just keep an eye on the pizza, and make sure before you take it out, you always check the bottom so it's nice and cooked underneath. Keep an eye on the pizza when it's in the oven, just make sure it doesn't burn, but always before you take it out, check the underside, just lift it up a little bit to make sure that's nice and cooked underneath. Voila! Here's our first pizza of the evening. Who wants the first piece?
I
And let's slice it up and enjoy. Buon appetito, everybody!